Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite Nhl Dfs plays for this Thursday, January 4th slate. We got ourselves another 13 game slate here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and then we'll wrap up the video with 3 low priced options or sub 4K forward plays. With that being said, let's dive into this. And we're going to kick things off here by highlighting the 13 games we have on this slate tonight. Starting with this first set of games here, we got the Blackhawks at Rangers, Penguins at Bruins, Sabres at Canadiens, Blue Jackets at Flyers, Avalanche at Stars, and the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Minnesota Wild. Next set of games here, we got the Canucks at Blues, Flames at Predators, Islanders at Coyotes, Panthers at Golden Knights, Senators at Kraken, Jets at Sharks, and the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Los Angeles Kings. And then here's a quick little schedule update to wrap up this week. Last NHL DFS video here for this week, and then I got an NFL DFS video coming out tomorrow highlighting my favorite tournament or GPP plays for this week 18 main slate. With all that said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. Again, 13 game slate, 26 different teams to choose from. There's obviously a lot to love about this slate in general, but one line stack that I like in particular here tonight is that second line for the New York Rangers. We got Trocheck centering Panarin and Lafreniere. Pretty affordable considering the upside they offer, and honestly, I'm 100% okay playing their first line as well. That's a Banajad line if you wanted to go that route, but this second line here has slightly been better throughout the season. We're going to see Panarin and Trocheck play up on the Rangers' number 1 power play, Lafreniere play on their number 2 power play. Great matchup overall here at home tonight against Chicago, a team that's allowed 3.76 goals per game this year, the second most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 74% rate. That's the 7th worst in the NHL. Now, being that line stack that I highlight is probably going to be on the more popular side of things, even on a 13 game slate, I wanted to get a little more contrarian here with this next line stack, and that's going to be the first line for the Montreal Canadiens. We got Suzuki centering Caulfield and Slavkovsky, a very affordable line stack here in a good matchup at home tonight against the Buffalo Sabres, and these three have shown some decent upside this year. 27 goals, 48 assists combined in 37 games. That's 75 points, basically averaging 2 points per game. I love that all three of these guys play up on the Habs' number 1 power play as well, some strong correlation there. Again, in a good matchup at home tonight against Buffalo, a team that's allowed 3.45 goals per game this year, 8th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at a 78% rate. That's the 11th worst in the NHL. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm going to have hockey content coming out for you guys throughout the remainder of the season. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. I just highlighted that first line for the Montreal Canadiens, and I have no problem running it back in that game with some Buffalo Sabres. Either that first line or that second line is 100% okay with me, but I do like the way that Tage Thompson is playing here as of late. He's priced at $7,200 on Draftkings tonight, and he's put up 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points in his last 5 games. I like the way he's been shooting the puck as well. That's really the strong part of his game. He's had 4+ shots on net now in 4 of his last 5 games. Again, a good matchup here against Montreal, a team that's allowed 3.38 goals per game this year, the 10th most in the NHL, and really targeting the Sabres' number 1 power play is probably the move, as the Montreal Canadiens have the 2nd worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 73% rate. The next guy I got here then is Travis Konechny of the Philadelphia Flyers, priced at $6,300 tonight in a good matchup at home against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Konechny's really been solid all year, coming off of a career year last year. He's kind of carried that into this season, putting up 18 goals, 16 assists in 37 games, and he's kind of had his way with this Blue Jackets team as well this year, putting up 3 goals in 2 games, while playing up on the first line in number 1 power play for the Philadelphia Flyers. Again, just a good matchup overall against Columbus, a team that's allowed 3.67 goals per game this year, the 3rd most in the NHL. I then plan to go back to Nikolai Ehlers here tonight to the Winnipeg Jets, priced at $5,800 here tonight in a good matchup against the San Jose Sharks. I mentioned this on Tuesday. He's just progressively gotten better as the season has gone on. He's now put up 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points, and 39 shots on net in his past 10 games, averaging 15.5 DraftKings points per game, really just crushing value at this price, playing up on the first line and number 1 power play for the Jets right now. And again, we all know how good this matchup matchup is against San Jose, a team that's allowed 4.08 goals per game this year, the most in the NHL, with the league's 5th worst penalty kill hitting at just a 73.5% rate. And then another forward that I really liked here in the 5K range tonight was Kevin Fiala of the Los Angeles Kings, priced at $5,400 in a good matchup at home against the Detroit Red Wings. And actually, this is the cheapest we've seen Fiala on DraftKings all year long. I know he hasn't played his best hockey here as of late, but I will take advantage of the discounted price. Still someone who's playing on the second line and number 1 power play for this Kings team. He's got 8 goals, 23 assists, 31 points in 34 games. And again, a good matchup here against a Detroit team that's allowed 3.45 goals per game this year, the 7th most in the NHL. And then dipping into the 4K range of forwards here, we're going to go with Gustav Nyquist of the Nashville Predators, priced at $4,600 here tonight in a tougher matchup at home against Calgary, but I like the way he's playing right now. Probably the best hockey he's played all season, racking up 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points here in his last 10 games, averaging close to 12 DraftKings points per game, while playing up on the first line and number 1 power play for the Preds. And again, a tougher matchup here against this Calgary team who does play solid defensively, but for a guy priced in the 4K range, I think this is a solid value play. Now, moving on to the defensemen here, and one guy I'm definitely not afraid to spend up for here tonight is Mike Matheson of the Montreal Canadiens, priced at $6,000 again in a matchup at home against Buffalo. He's an offensive defenseman who's racked up 6 goals, 21 assists, 27 points in 37 games this year, logging massive minutes for this Canadiens team, plays around 25 minutes per night, and on their number 1 power play. He's also not afraid to shoot the puck, averages around 2.5 shots on net per game, and 2 block shots per game as well. Now, dipping into the 4K range of defensemen here, someone who's kind of flown under the radar this year is Colton Parayko of the St. Louis Blues, priced at $4,600 tonight in a matchup at home against the Canucks. He's been solid in terms of fantasy points. I don't think he's been great in terms of real-life hockey. I'll leave that for the St. Louis Blues to discuss, but he does have 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in 36 games, so he can get on the score sheet every now and then. But even more so, what I like is he averages 2.5 block shots per game. He's definitely someone who can get us that 3-point bonus by blocking 3 shots in a game. You can also see there he averages close to 2 shots on net per game, and someone who's going to play massive minutes tonight. He plays 24 minutes per night, and he also just got promoted to the Blues' number 2 power play, and has always played big minutes on their penalty kill. And then sticking in the 4K range of defensemen here, I also like Brock Faber of the Minnesota Wild, priced at $4,300 here tonight in a matchup at home against the Lightning. A very well-rounded defenseman, especially for a rookie. He's racked up 2 goals, 14 assists, 16 points in 36 games, and being that Jared Spurgeon is back on the IR for the Wild right now, Faber is basically Minnesota's number 1 defenseman, logging around 27 minutes per night, just plays huge minutes for this team, playing on their number 1 power play, and also playing on their penalty kill. And then dipping into the 3K range of defensemen here, I got Brandt Clark of the Los Angeles Kings, priced at $3,000 tonight, again in a good matchup at home against the Red Wings. Now, we definitely need to keep an eye on this play because he was just called up from the AHL, but he practiced on the number 1 power play for the Kings yesterday in Drew Doughty's absence. Now, it sounds like Doughty is going to play here tonight, so that's why we need to keep an eye on this. I still think we could see Clark play on their number 2 power play because he is a defenseman who offers some nice offensive upside. You can see there he's put up 7 goals, 25 assists, 32 points in 30 AHL games this year, and a super young defenseman, just 20 years old, but a former first-round pick by the Los Angeles Kings, taken 8th overall, so they do have high expectations for him. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you, but again, 13 games, 26 goalies to choose from. There's quite a few in my player pool overall. If you haven't joined my Discord yet, you can do that with a link in the description below, completely free to join. If you can't find that link, just leave me a comment on this video, and I can send you an invite there. But one goalie who's playing really well right now is Joey Daccord of the Seattle Kraken, priced at $8,100 here tonight in a matchup at home against the Senators. He has truly been dialed in his last 10 games, with a record of 6-1-3, save percentage of .947, and a goals allowed average of 1.58, averaging close to 20 DraftKings points per game. And the Senators aren't afraid to shoot the puck as a team, ranking 9th overall in the NHL in shots on goal per game with 32.5. And I like that the Kraken are favored at home. That's always something to go on as well. You can see they're sitting on a money line of -130. And then I got Connor Ingram there of the Arizona Coyotes, priced at $7,600 tonight in a matchup at home against the New York Islanders. Now, rostering Ingram can be a little still high risk, high reward, but he has been good in more games than not this year, with a record of 13-7-0, save percentage of .919, and a goals allowed average of 2.49, averaging close to 15.5 Draftkings points per game. And I actually like that he ranks 8th overall out of 71 qualified goaltenders this year in goals save above expected. He truly has been good this year, but just from time to time, this Coyotes team can slip up and have those bust games. But overall, really like him in tournaments, and I think he's safe in cash as well. And as always, going to wrap up this video here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays, and there's actually quite a bit of value at the forward position in the 3K range here tonight. I'm sure that will be discussed in the Discord channel, but I wanted to highlight Jake DeBrusk here, the Boston Bruins, priced at $3,700 tonight, because he is currently riding a 4-game point streak where he's racked up 2 goals, 4 assists, hitting 7.8, 14.3, 15, and 17.1 DraftKings points in those 4 games. Not bad at all for a guy priced here at $3,700. I then got Jack Quinn here, the Buffalo Sabres, priced at $3,700, and he just returned from the IR 6 games ago, but already has 3 goals, playing on their second line and number 2 power play, and honestly, as a cheap contrarian play here tonight, I don't mind stacking up that second line for the Sabres. And as long as Alexander Kerfoot remains here in the 3K range while playing up on the first line and number 1 power play for the Arizona Coyotes, I will take advantage of that. He's got 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 points in 36 games this year. Been really good as of late with 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in his last 10 games. Really solid opportunity and value play here, considering his role on this team. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 13-game slate. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.